How's it going, Ashley?
It's going well. How are you doing?
Good.
I am ready whenever you are.
Okay. Looks like we don't have a quorum yet,
Okay.
but we only have, let's see. We have about 30 minutes, right?
Yes, we do. I don't think the next meeting's until 1, but I don't think we should need all that time.
No, I don't think so. Okay, so maybe we'll give it just a couple more minutes. Yeah, especially because Kevin slowly there
Noticed that too. We better wait for him.
we need him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he's not confused about, there was some, the schedule posted online with what we had is not matching. So I'm hoping that he knows it's at 12 now. Oh, here's Kevin. Okay.
Hello, yeah, sorry about that. I just was trying to get on and I didn't have the normal link, so I went to the portal where all the citizens go to listen in.
Yeah, I didn't get one either. I don't know what happened, but we haven't started yet. I just want to make sure we have a couple more people. Ashley, I'm going to get us going just because we only have about 30 minutes. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm going to call the Public Works Committee to order. We continue to meet via Zoom, but please know there are several ways to participate and stay engaged. If you're joining us via Zoom and would like to provide public comment, please use the raise and lower hand feature and I'll call on you to provide comment. If you are joining us by phone, you can raise and lower your hand by pressing *9 and *6 to mute and unmute yourself. You can always leave a voice message for the entire council by calling 406-552-6012, and you can email council at council@ci.missoula.mt.us. All these meetings are recorded and can be accessed via YouTube and or MCAT. So with that, let's do a roll call, please, Ashley.
Anderson,
Present.
Becerra,
Present.
Contos, Harp, Hess,
Present.
Jones, Merritt, Ramos,
Present.
Cheryl,
Present.
Vasika, Von Lossberg, West.
Okay. So we don't have a quorum for approval of minutes. So I'm gonna make a note to do that at the end of the meeting. But in the meantime, let's do public comment. Any public comment on items not on the agenda? And I see Mr. Larson. You should be able to unmute now.
Hi, yes, this is Matt Larson, Ward 3. Just wanted to draw to your awareness that the clickable link on the schedule for these committees has not been a clickable link. So there is no link to the master calendar for the city, and it's a problem. It's a continued problem with these meetings. Also, last week I tried to participate with the BCAL meeting, the Budget Committee of the Whole, but it wasn't in any of the meetings. Like it was streamed to YouTube, but none of the links or agendas for all the calendared meetings worked to get into that meeting. And I texted Mr. Ramos, as that is my only liaison to the entire city council at this moment, seeing as how I've been banned from emailing or calling all of y'all. So that's neither here nor there, because nobody obviously cares on the city council about that. And so I wanted to go and move on to the projected water legal bills for this year, this coming year. And I wanted to kind of figure out and get a re-update for the public about where we stand on all the water company stuff and how many more untold millions of dollars we're going to spend out of the general budget. We still don't have an estimate for this year's legal fees. Just wondering where we're at, if we can get an update down here as mere mortals. I'd also like to get a complete and full capital assets list of the city, because without this, it becomes hard for the citizens to become confident that any contract or any agreement the city is entering into is not entirely flawed, as we do not even know what our city owns, what it's paid for, what it's paying off currently, and anything of the sort, because of blocking of this information. You guys have a capital assets list. Why has it not been delivered? I have requested it now for months. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Okay, we will move to our next item on the agenda. And that is professional services agreement with DJ&A for the George Elmer Drive and Cattle Drive roundabout project. And Kevin Slovarp is here to present. Go ahead, Kevin.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, so this is a design contract for our DJ&A to provide design, and if we get to a point in the contract that construction services are able to be funded out of this, we will engage that portion of the contract that's not currently in there, the construction engineering side of it. So right now I'm moving this request forward for design work to be done at the George Elmer Drive, Cattle Drive intersection. This has been planned for a roundabout improvement for quite a long time, ever since the 44 ranch development or subdivision was approved. I think back in like 2006 or 2007. And then Flynn Ranch across the street from George Elmer Drive, or across George Elmer Drive from 44 Ranch, was also conditioned with its subdivision approval to make improvements, roundabout improvements to this intersection. Both of those developments did make improvements, just not the final improvements. Current improvements that are done are the curb lines on all four corners of this intersection, just not basically the center roundabout and the pedestrian or the splitter islands at each leg, north, south, east, and west. So we just are looking to hire DJ&A to complete the design work for those for that center circle and the splitter islands and some other pedestrian features to get folks and bicycle improvements to get folks through and around the roundabout safely. So it's the roundabout originally conceived again back in 2006, 2007 timeframe is really needed for access control. It's needed as a higher form of access control other than the current two-way stop controlled on either side of George Elmer Drive. It's needed to have those developments and the citizens that live within those developments effectively access onto George Elmer Drive, especially with other developments that are occurring, like McNeck Flats just to the north, and then with the Bill Grant infrastructure, I'm sure we're positive that we're anticipating a lot of other developments are going to occur in this area that will also complicate access. But the roundabout is not just about access and access control. It allows for additional pedestrian safety when crossing George Elmer Drive. The center medians will provide a pedestrian refuge and reduce the length of the pedestrian crossing distance. And this is going to be a pretty busy street in the future, so we definitely want to enhance the safety of pedestrians and other folks, non-motorized folks that are wanting to cross the road to get to the 44 Ranch 5-acre park. That's going to draw a lot of residents from the east side of George Elmer Drive to it. So we want to provide safety for that. The city got involved in this project as the original developers, 44 Ranch and Flynn Ranch, weren't able to agree on the scope of work. So the city said, we'll step in, we'll provide some funding for it, and we'll complete the project when it's ready. What has complicated that is there's an existing site visibility hazard on the west side of the intersection. And with this project, we will successfully eliminate, or not eliminate that, but mitigate that visibility hazard. So that's part of this project. And that visibility hazard is a hazard for pedestrians crossing Cattle Drive, and it's a hazard for motor vehicle operators that are using the street. So the new roundabout intersection will meet the City of Missoula standards and include lighting for the intersection. The lighting design and construction will be part of another project, though. I'm looking to work with other folks within the city to come up with and then propose to you folks a special lighting improvement district for all of George Elmer Drive as a corridor that will include the lighting for this intersection. So I'm going to be needing to work on that real soon too. So the timing of these, hopefully work out. But there is existing lighting out there that we're hopeful that meets the intent for the time being. If the roundabout happens to go in before the lighting does. Additionally, we Yeah, I mentioned the construction side of it. If there isn't project budget for DJ&A to do some of that construction engineering, me and my staff will take that on and make sure that the contractor that we hire to do the work is gets it done and meets our standards. So the funding is coming from the original developments of 44 Ranch and Flynn Ranch, and an additional amount will come from McNutt Flats, as McNutt Flats was recently conditioned to pay into this particular project. And then the city's portion is looking to come from the transportation impact fee. I know in the referral it says right-of-way road construction fund, and maybe that's just a general fund at this point. But the money that the city brings to this project right now will pay for this design work, and then the developer money that will come also in turn will cover the construction of it. So yeah, that's my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Kevin. Any questions from council? Okay, can you tell us about the time frame for this, like actual construction, and the funding that you mentioned coming from all the subdivisions? Is that something that the city will construct it and then get reimbursed that money from those two sources, or do we wait until we have that money in hand to start building?
We essentially will have the money in hand through agreements or through previous improvements agreements that have been made with the developers. So we will have the money in hand before we go to construction. We do expect to have all that money here relatively soon. Definitely before we go to construction. I don't think construction will be held up by receiving or making sure that developer funding is in place. We will be working on that while the design is ongoing. We expect to get the design done this year fairly quickly. We hope to put this out to bid, but we need to see how it plays out with the construction of the build grant and other projects in the area. We don't want to overly complicate traffic movement into and out of people's homes if there's other construction projects that are ongoing. So the construction schedule is really up in the air, but it could happen a little later this year and could get done could potentially be done by the end of this calendar year.
Great. That's I'm excited to see that happen, and I know a lot of people in the neighborhood too. Stacy.
Thanks so much. I guess my question, you talked about the timeline for the construction, which was one of my questions, so appreciate that from Mirta. But then the timeline for a potential special improvements district, I mean, what is the timeline for that process?
Yeah, that process is I don't really know. It could be fairly quick, but there's a lot of steps involved. I haven't created one of those in quite a while. or been involved with the creation of one in quite a while, ever since like the Hillview Way SID creation, which was a number of years ago. But we'll get started on that and bring that forward as quickly as we can, and so we can bring these two projects to fruition about the same time.
Okay. Madam Chair, it's not a follow-up, it's actually a second question on something
Go ahead.
similar. Okay, since we happen to be talking about this area and we have Kevin Slovart here, I'd love to know if within the build grant plan, there is also the intersection of Flynn and Broadway out there. What is the name of the bar that's right there at that intersection? Whatever, doesn't matter. Do you know what I'm talking about there? Flynn and Broadway that goes out there. And I'm wondering if that is, and Madam Chair, if this is too far off topic, I'm fine with that. I just know that we're talking about this area. And that is another area where there seems to be a lot of traffic problems and increase in accidents happening. And I'm wondering where that is in the larger build plan.
Okay. Yeah, I can talk about that project. That project is a highway safety improvement project being developed by MDT. And part of that project is to install a traffic signal at the future Mary Jane West Broadway intersection, and then to also create traffic restrictions at the Flynn and West Broadway intersection. So with that project, with those two elements being at those two intersections that I just mentioned, that will and should and is planned to positively impact the safety of the Flynn and West Broadway intersection. And that project is moving forward. It has essentially been designed fully and is going to be let for contractor bids here real soon, and the desire is for that project to really be completed this year also, and in time, I guess, for the opening or what I've heard is the opening of the VA. I don't know that the VA will. Well, I don't want to go into that because I don't know that I have all the correct information. But the project is supposed to essentially be in place and completed by November 1st.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate you answering that question, and for the chair letting me take a quick tangent. I literally have an email from a constituent asking about this, so now I can respond. Thank you so much.
Great. So we do need, if there are no other questions, then we do need a motion for this item. And although we don't have a quorum, we can vote on it on Monday, but at least we will have had a motion on the floor. So I'm looking for someone to put the motion on the floor. Mr. Ramos.
Floor.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Oh, I will put the motion on the floor. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you so much. And I hope my colleagues will support this. I have been advocating for this for a long time. I do think it's the more construction and the more development takes place in this area, this will be an important component of safety infrastructure. And so it's an important piece of that bigger Setupcane puzzle in that area. Jordan, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I was going to say the same. I think that this is a really good project that's been a long time in the works, and there was some complexity in getting it completed. So I'm glad that it's moving forward, and I want to thank Kevin for getting everything in place to get this moving along. And I'm highly supportive as well.
Great. And Jesse, your hand is up. Do you have a question or no? Okay. Okay, so we have a motion on this item. We will vote on it on Monday, so we'll take note of that. And same with our minutes. We will take care of that on Monday. Unless I'm not doing this right, Jordan.
Oh, that's right. I would hold the minutes till the next meeting, and then there's just a note in the committee report that there's no quorum.
Great. Okay, so Ashley, you can help me remember that. That would be great. And thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, quick question for me. Do you want me to be available on Monday to present this if this isn't on like a consent agenda type thing?
Stacy.
I think the process is we can vote on it and put it on the consent agenda, and it just will be noted on the consent agenda that there was not a quorum of committee. So it's just like, but we would continue forward with the normal process. So it would be on the consent agenda unless somebody votes to not support it and ask for it to be on committee reports.
Yeah, so we still need to take a vote on it today. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think, Kevin, that you need a presentation for this on Monday. I think that this counts as the public, an opportunity for the public to know in more detail what this is. So I don't think it has to have a public hearing presentation. Am I correct, Jordan or Stacy? Okay. So you can join us, but not needed, I don't think. Okay, so Ashley, if we can get a roll call vote on this, please.
Sure. Anderson,
Yes.
Becerra,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
okay, that's 5 yeses and 0 nos.
Okay, so this will go on the consent agenda. Noted that we didn't have a quorum.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. And that was our only item on the agenda. So with that, we would be adjourned. Thank you, Kevin.